But first, talk about what works. There is no attachment with the product. A simple, a very clean statement, but when you are embedded within the product group, you are so attached with the product. You have built it like a baby, so you cannot think of like detaching something or starting something new or thinking about it in a completely new fashion. You always hit a roadblock where you have been thinking unidirectionally and it has become difficult for you to think of tearing apart something or adding a new piece to the product.
Looking like a baddie, I show up and make them stop. Wanna know my name so badly, cause I run this whole block. Flip my hair, move my head, show the world I'm royalty. When I walk by, they be taking bows, cause they know I'm the queen, yeah.
Hi, I'm Pooja, and today we are going to talk about product growth and optimization in an organization and how to make it work. But before we go into it, a little something about me so that you don't wonder why I'm giving you all of this advice. So, hi, this is me on the right, and there are a couple of things which you should know. I have been into digital products growth and consultation since last 7 years, mostly in the airline industry. I have also had depth of pharma clients along with telecom clients, but let me tell you the organization story for optimization is pretty similar across the board. I'm really passionate about optimization. In my current role, I am building the optimization structure and making it work, and we'll talk about what is working in it. I'm also an aerospace engineer, so good at math, just to say that the above 2 points are working because of this qualification. I also like traveling. I consider it really good for my soul and mental health. I'm on my 14th country this year, and the picture from right is somewhere in Prague. So let's talk about product growth and optimization in an organization and how to make it work. So there are three things which we need to know about the optimization group within an organization for it to work. One would be the function design or the placement of it in an organization. The second is the structure. How is that function structured in a way that the intake of the requests are done in a manner that it makes sense for everyone in the organization. And third is the acceptance of the optimization and experimentation group in an organization. I have often heard that it's difficult to get those stakeholders or it is difficult to get those loyalists in the organization, and I wonder why. Because maybe it is not set up in a way for it to succeed. And throughout my journey of past 7 and 8 years, I've realized that the integration of all three of this really places a big role in the acceptance of an optimization function in an organization. So let's talk about how, what are these, how is the design, structure, and acceptance work, and what we need to do. This can be helpful for anyone who is building an optimization function in their organization, or it's already there but it is not working in the way they want it to work, or they are finding it difficult to get any kind of stakeholders for themselves for their function in the organization. So, design. Where is it placed in the organization? So there can be three main placements. One, that you are part of the product team, and more often than not, this is how the structure is. I've seen it in so many different places that you would be one person who would be tagged with the product team, and within that, that would be the motive of that person is to optimize that product. It's a lonely life, right? Like, you are engaging with the product, but it comes with a lot of challenges because you are not sitting within an optimization group who is looking at other products and everything. It's a very siloed kind of optimization efforts. The second one is that you are totally disconnected and you're sitting outside of product team. You're analyzing the data, you are reading the data, you know, okay, this product needs to be optimized, you optimize it, but you don't have the perfect link or any kind of connection with the product team. And that also comes and creates a lot of chaos because they need to know what you are working with. Ultimately, they are the owner of the product, right? But the third is that you are an optimization center of excellence, but you overlap with the product. You sit as a separate function. You are where all the optimization of all the digital products in the organization happens, but you have clear reins and clear connections with the product team. And out of these three, what works is this one. I would talk about what works for this one in the next line. So tag along. So why does this function in the best way possible, or what works? But let me tell you, it comes with its own challenge, and a big one for it, which I have experienced over time, and I'm trying to work out a structure where we can manage that challenge. But first, talk about what works. There is no attachment with the product. A simple, a very clean statement, but when you are embedded within the product group, you are so attached with the product. You have built it like a baby, so you cannot think of like detaching something or starting something new or thinking about it in a completely new fashion. You always hit a roadblock where you have been thinking unidirectionally, and it has become difficult for you to think of tearing apart something or adding a new piece to the product.
This is Romo Santiago from Experiment Nation. Every week we share interviews with and conference sessions by our favorite conversion rate optimizers from around the world. So if you like this video, smash that like button and consider subscribing. It helps us a bunch. Now back to the episode.
So if you are a person who is sitting outside of the product team, but you understand the product, you are in the optimization center of excellence, you don't have any attachment with the product, and it really helps. It's like a blessing. The second is related to that point. You are neutral and fresh in your product analysis, in dissection and hypothesizing about the product. So that helps. Third is very important, cross-functional optimization learnings. If you are sitting within the product, and the first option which we saw in the last slide, and you are doing siloed optimization, you don't know what kind of enhancements is being done, what kind of learnings are being done, what kind of audience group were used, also resources. At the end of the day, you are single organization, so you need to know what kind of resources are being utilized. Are you duplicating the work in some way or form? So of course we don't want to do it in a siloed manner, and it needs to be cross functionally feeding into each other. And fourth point, of course, is that it does not do any siloed optimization in the organization. But what doesn't work? What is the biggest challenge? The biggest challenge is that you don't have the detailed product knowledge. You cannot have the detailed product knowledge because you are not part of the product group. And that is why there's always a debate between the first and the third option as to what works. But still, trust me, this one works better. So, how to overcome this problem? What can we do with the structure of this function that overcomes that challenge? So, how to manage the product knowledge gap, right? You need to embed different product managers or product owners into different products teams, but they still need to be associated with the optimization center of excellence. They need to all be integrated with your function, but there needs to be team members from your team which are going to the product team. They sit there, they listen to the product evolution, they are involved in it, but they bring back the ideas of optimization. It is coming through all directions, shapes and forms, and you as a unit decides how they can overlap with each other, how product 1 and product 2 can leverage from each other, how optimization can maybe help both of it at same time. Can we do a follow-up test or follow-up A/B test for product 1 and 2 so that they help each other? So what this will do is that this would avoid your siloed thing, but this would also help you bring the knowledge of the product. So this kind of structure really helps for you to sit outside but be integrated with the product, but also have the knowledge of the product. I know it's complicated and difficult to achieve, or it would be sounding very simple that, oh, we can do this. How is it that complicated? But trust me, in an organization, two product groups will not know what's happening in their product. They would be so involved in their own product that they don't care. They don't have that time. They are just heads down into evolving and enabling different products. So there needs to be a group who is setting the center stage of the optimization of all the products in the organization, and that is the only way it's gonna work. But what about acceptance? Even if you do so, even if you are working in such a way, there can be instances where you are not accepted by the product team. They are into their product development, they are working on the product, and you're optimizing something. For them, it does not matter, or maybe function in a way they are functioning, right? So there is always a tension, or there is always some kind of butting with the product team if you are an experimentation team. So what you do with it? You need to create your product growth and optimization roadmap in conjunction with the product team, which differentiates, very, very important, which differentiates from the product development plan. Your optimization and the development plan cannot go in tandem, they cannot work or go side by side. You will reach a point where they are colliding or they're having a problem with each other. So they need to be independent of each other. You need to know when a development of a product is happening, you take a back step. When you know an optimization is happening, the product team is focusing on the development of some other product at that time. The focus of the optimization need to be on a limited set of products. You need to have like a growth roadmap. This is what happens first, second, third, fourth. That is how the evolution of the product is happening, not by the development, but by sheer experimentation and optimization of the product. So let's say that you are here. You want to go here. So what do? You create a product growth by optimization. Remember, again, product development is different from what you are doing. You are creating a roadmap with optimization 1, 2, 3, 4. You know that this is how your year is gonna look like. Right now, there is no development happening from the product team. They are focusing on something else. You, as an organization with different resources, need to know what you need to focus on at one particular time. Again, this may be sounding very simple, but trust me, it can be as complicated as it gets, because there are times when I have seen that there is one single product. Let's say, when I say product, it can be a particular page, it can be a check-in, it could be just adding things to a cart. So you can define the product as you like, but there would be product team who would be developing and making changes to it. You would be optimizing it on the side, and there is collision, and that is when the break happens between a product team and an experimentation team, right? At that particular time, when you are doing product growth via optimization, there can be no product development on that product at that time, and that is how you all can coexist, correct? Which would be equal to success. So it's really important that you function in this way and make sure that the development and the product growth roadmap are for two different products at a given time, and you guys stick to it. What can happen is that you can do optimization, and that can feed into a development plan for the product in the upcoming real time, but at one particular time they need to be different and cannot coexist for a particular product, right? So that's all. So you know about where an optimization function needs to be placed, how it needs to be placed, what is the structure of it that would enable that functioning because of the challenge we spoke about. And now you know that when you have done this, where is the collision happening and what you need to do for that acceptance. Hopefully this was helpful. try this if something is off on your organization, and maybe let me know how it helps. You can always message me on LinkedIn and we can chat more. And also let me know if you disagree with something. I would be really, really happy to know and maybe learn something from you guys. So thank you very much, and hope you guys have a nice summer.
This is Romo Santiago from Experiment Nation. Every week we share interviews with and conference sessions by our favorite conversion rate optimizers from around the world. So if you like this video, smash that like button and consider subscribing.